Hi guys, welcome back to Set Speaks. In today's video, I will be talking about the genre mixing in Avengers Endgame. While I may have issues with the film's story and disregarding a specific character's arc and development, I will say that in terms of taking the superhero action film to the next level of spectacle, Endgame pretty much nailed it. Almost all Hollywood films engage in a form of genre mixing in order to appeal to a greater audience, but Endgame kicks it up a notch by combining genres that you don't think would necessarily go together. The primary genre of the film is superhero action, and it's combined with the heist and time travel genres. There is a purpose to this unusual combination of genres, which I will be talking about. So, because the superhero action elements are pretty self-explanatory, the first genre I'll be discussing is the heist. While I've already talked about the heist structure in my previous video, which is linked right here, there is another aspect of the heist film that is incredibly important: the emphasis on teamwork. A heist can't be pulled off without a team because every person has a role that they have to play. The time heist that the remaining Avengers planned is dependent on teamwork and cooperation.
6 stones, 3 teams, 1 shot.
So not only does the dialogue articulate their goal, but the framing of various shots emphasizes teamwork and cooperation. And even though they split up the team, the members are now in smaller teams. Scott, Hulk, Tony and Steve in 2012, Rocket and Thor in 2013, Rhodey, Nebula, Natasha, and Clint in 2014. With the exception of Hulk, the remaining members are paired up with at least one other member of their smaller team in order to obtain their respective Infinity Stone. Another element borrowed from the heist film is the storyline. Heist films involve a risky job where they have to steal something and ultimately receive a great reward. While the reward is usually money or something of similar value, in this case, the reward is bringing back those who were dusted at the end of Infinity War. The heist itself is risky because time traveling was only very recently invented in the story world, and the team can't account for every single variable or outcome. This leads to complications like losing the Tesseract to Loki. Another risk is the sacrifice demanded to get the Soul Stone from Vermeer. So the job has a lot of risk and danger, but the reward is to achieve their goal of bringing back those who were dusted. The time travel element that was borrowed is pretty self-explanatory. The Avengers travel back in time to get the Infinity Stones. They're all displaced in terms of time and space. In the story world, it's 2023 and they were in the Avengers compound in upstate New York. But after going through the quantum realm, they're displaced in different locations and years. There's 2012 New York, 2013 Asgard, 2014 Morag, and 1970 New Jersey. But the film dealt with the concept of time travel very differently. Whatever you change in the past doesn't affect the present timeline, which is why Rhodey's suggestion about killing baby Thanos was shot down. It doesn't make sense, and honestly, I've given up trying to understand the philosophy behind Endgame's time travel. It's one of those things I have an issue about. Now that I've finished discussing the generic elements, it's time to answer the question: what's the purpose of this unusual combination of genre mixing? Well, Endgame is the finale to the Infinity Saga, so it's meant to be this massive and epic spectacle, even more so because it's a culmination of the 20 films that preceded it. And because there had been 20 superhero films that led up to Endgame, they needed to find a way to take it to a whole other level. Genre mixing then is necessary so that there's no repeat of the stories that have already been told. So here's a follow-up question: why the heist and time travel genres specifically? Well, choosing the time travel genre to be a part of Endgame has 3 purposes. 1, it solved the problem regarding the retrieval of the stones from past to the present timeline and brought everyone back. 2, it brought the Thanos conflict from 2014 to 2023, which led to the epic climactic battle. And 3, it serves to remind the viewer how the previous films were connected to each other and to Endgame with the Infinity Stones. The time heist sequence recalls iconic scenes in the MCU's history, and several characters also make a reappearance. There's the iconic 360 take of the Avengers in the same frame from the first Avengers film, Steve's elevator fight from The Winter Soldier, the Ancient One defending the Sanctum in 2012, Frigga before her death in Dark World, and even the opening scene from The Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 1. These events don't just demonstrate the connection of the films with each other, they're also a trip down memory lane for fans of the franchise. Now, the heist genre was chosen because of the teamwork element. Without the heist storyline, the original 6 Avengers wouldn't have come together to work as a team once more. The last film the original 6 were in was Age of Ultron. Thor and Banner didn't appear in Civil War, the subsequent film after Age of Ultron where the other Avengers appeared. Also, the team was divided in Civil War, with Tony and Nat on one side and Steve and Clint on another side because of the Sokovia Accords. The teamwork and cooperation disintegrated in Civil War, especially between Steve and Tony. Whatever little trust they had in each other was gone, and it hadn't been repaired until Endgame. The film is framed as a conclusion to the Infinity Saga, and also as a conclusion to the arc of the original 6 Avengers. Without the newer Avengers, who were featured at the end of Age of Ultron, the film focuses more on the original 6, especially Steve and Tony.
I got nothing for you, Cap. I got no coordinates, no clues, no strategies, no options, zero, zip, nada. No trust. Liar.
This dialogue is important because it reminds viewers that there is still a lack of trust between Steve and Tony, and they can't be a team once more until they trust each other again. It's not until later in the film that their trust in each other was renewed.
You trust me? I do.
The combination of teamwork, cooperation, and bringing the conflict from 2014 to 2023 leads to the epic climactic battle with Thanos. The scene where the dusted people came back and were stepping out of portals. Like, it was just such an emotional thing to watch.
Ah, chills. Literal chills.
This epic battle shows how massive the MCU has become with its characters, and emphasizes on the importance of this final battle with the unification of all these characters from various MCU films. The non-diegetic score builds, and the camera pans back to an extra long shot to show how massive the army of heroes are. When Steve says that iconic line from the comics,
Avengers!
Assemble.
the Avengers theme song begins to play non-diegetically. This climactic sequence is a culmination of all the MCU films that preceded Endgame. All of the characters who are still alive are engaging in this epic battle for the universe. Also, the use of the Avengers Assemble line demonstrates how important this is. None of the past Avengers film ever included this line. So, along with the use of the Avengers theme song, the emphasis on a team coming together is so prominent in this sequence. It's not just the original Avengers, but also their allies. To sum up, Endgame is a superhero action film, but it also pulls elements from the heist and time travel genres. In combining these genres, Endgame takes a superhero action film to a new level. All of these elements work together to acknowledge the continuity and collaboration between the films that led up to Endgame, and also builds up to this action spectacle that shows how massive the MCU has become in terms of its films and characters. Whatever issues I may have with the film, I can't deny that it was a pretty epic spectacle to watch. And that's a wrap on genre mixing in Avengers Endgame. Tune in next week for my video on Black Widow. Thank you guys so much for watching my video, and please don't forget to like, comment, or subscribe.